Okay, question 7. Generating excellent. Number 7. If the gradient of a straight line is 2 and the y-intercept is negative 18, determine x-intercept of the straight line. So first I will draw the graph. This is x-intercept, this is x-axis, y-axis. Y-intercept is negative 18, it should be down here. M is 2. If the gradient is positive, it should be like this, from left to right, okay, and it goes up. So here is negative 18, this is y-intercept, and here is the x-intercept, and the M is equals to 2. Okay, so let's solve this. There are two ways how to do this. First, using gradient is 1 is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So in order to use that, I need to label the coordinates here as 0, negative 18, and here will be x0. So we create equation that is m y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So either one of these two could be x1 y1 and x2 y2, or the other way. So we say 2, which is the gradient, is negative 18 minus 0 over 0 minus x, and solve this equation. So we have negative 2 is equals to negative 18 over negative x. So cross multiply, so you get negative 2x equals negative 18. So x will be negative 18 over negative 2, which is 9. So the x-intercept is 9. The other way is that gradient is also, you can calculate using the formula of negative y-intercept over x-intercept. So in this case, we just use this as x and the y-intercept as negative 18, and the gradient is 2, and substitute 2 equals negative 18 over x, and solve this. We cross multiply, you get 2x equals to 18, because negative 18, so x will be 18 over 2, which is 9. Assalamualaikum and hi again. Today we are going to do question 8 from Form 2, Generating Excellence, at page 203. So the question is calculate the gradient of the straight line MN if the horizontal distance of P from the y-axis is 6 units. So they want to find the gradient of MN. Okay, so do we know anything, or we need to know two coordinates on the line in order to calculate the gradient? So far we already know this coordinate, which is 0, negative 8, and we have an info that horizontal distance of P from the y-axis is 6 units. So it means the length here is 6. So it means the coordinate of P is 6, 0. Okay? Anyway, they want you to find the gradient of the straight line MN. Do we need to know the coordinate of M and N? Actually, no. Okay? So, in order to answer that question, because they want you to find MN, what you have to do, you have to do some experimentation. That is, you draw a straight line on a graph of paper. For example, just any coordinate. Make sure it's a straight line. You take a first coordinate and the second coordinate. You calculate gradient. Let's say this is A and B, and this is C, and then you calculate gradient for A to C. You calculate the gradient B to D. You will find that the value of the gradient is a constant. It will be as long as, okay, because my line is not really a straight line, so it will be slightly different. But if you draw a straight line on a graph of paper, so you take any coordinate, any two coordinate, and you calculate the gradient, you will find that the gradient are constantly, it's a constant value. Okay, so since even though now they ask you to find equation or the gradient of M to N, you can just pick any two coordinates here. So the gradient will be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So you can just pick any these two as this, for example, x1 and y1, and this is x2 and y2. Okay, or the other way around. So the formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So it will be 0 minus negative 8 over 6 minus 0. So it will be 8 over 6, which is 4 over 3. So that is the value of the gradient for the straight line MN. Okay, hope you understand that. Assalamualaikum and hi again. We are at the question 9, generating excellent, form 2. This is at chapter 10. So the question is, if points A and B are on the same straight line with the gradient 4 over 3 and point A 0, 8, determine the coordinates of B if B is x-intercept. First, I need to sketch the graph, and you need to know that whenever you calculate gradient that is positive, whatever the value, it will always like this. That is, the straight line will always move higher to the higher point from left to right. If it is negative, it will be something like this. Okay, so it will go from the higher point to the lower point. Okay, so let's sketch the graph. That is y-axis and the x-axis, and they tell you that there is a straight line with gradient 4 over 3 and point A 0, 8. 0, 8. A will be here. Okay, 0, 8. Determine the coordinate of B if B is x-intercept. So, like what I explained just now, is that the gradient or the straight line will be moving from left to right, going up. Something like this. Okay? So, because the gradient is positive, that is 4 over 3. The gradient is indicated by letter M. So, because B is an x-intercept, so B will be here. So the B will be x and the y is 0. How do I know that? You just draw as long as it's on the x-axis. Here 1, 2, 3, for example. So the coordinate here will be 1, 0, And the coordinate here will be 2, 0. If there is 10 here, so the coordinate will be 10, 0. The y is constantly 0. Okay, so we want to find the coordinate of B. We can use, there are two formula for gradient, that is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then in case that we know the x-intercept or the y-intercept, we can use also gradient is negative y-intercept over x-intercept. So now we are going to do both ways. So m is 4 over 3. So y2 will be, okay, let's say this is x1, y1. So this is x2, y2. So 8 minus 0. 8 minus 0 over 0 minus x. So you have to cross multiply. 0 minus x will be negative x. So 4 times negative x equals to 8 times 3. Okay, you cross. So, and then you get negative 4x equals to 24. So x will be 24 over negative 4, which is negative 6. And logically, b is on the left side of 0. So the value of x for b will be negative. So the coordinate of b will be negative 6, 0. Okay. Then, using this formula, that is m is negative y-intercept over x-intercept. So again, we substitute 4 over 3 equals to negative y-intercept will be 8. So inside the bracket 8 over x-intercept. X-intercept you just write down as x. Okay. Okay. So then cross multiply. So you get 4x equals to negative 24. Negative 24 because 3 times negative 8. So x will be negative 24 divided by 4 will be negative 6. So therefore x-intercept or the b will be negative 6, 0. Assalamualaikum and hi. Now we are going to do question 10, generating excellent, syllabus form 2. The question is, the diagram above is the roof of a terrace house. If the height of the roof is 5 meter, calculate A, the gradient of the roof, B, the length of the slant of the roof. So for those who are not in form 2, there's a diagram there showing a roof. Okay, so I've sketched the roof. The length here is 15 meter and the other side, okay, so pardon me, the drawing is not, you have to refer to the real diagram here in order to really understand. Okay, so so in order to know the gradient, what is the formula for gradient? So gradient usually we indicate with m is length of vertical over length of horizontal. Okay, so that is the formula. So you have to memorize that. Okay, so do we know the length of the vertical? 5. Okay, and the length of horizontal is 7.5. Why is it 7.5? Because we are talking about gradient of this line, this one, okay, or this one. Okay, so the one that we mean by vertical is the length here. Okay, so this is the vertical, this is the horizontal. Okay, so we have to draw a right angle triangle in order to know what is the length of the vertical and the length of the horizontal. And simplify, 5 over 7/5 will be 0.6. 0.666, so I prefer to use 2 over 3, or okay, so this is the exact value because the decimal will be something like this. Okay, so actually 0.6666 until the end. Alright, so that is A. How about B? B is the length of the slant of the roof. Okay, so now we want to know what is the length from A to B. Okay, so you have to use Pythagoras theorem. Okay, so for the student form 2, you learn this Pythagoras theorem last chapter of form 1. Okay, so in order to use Pythagoras theorem, you have to have a right angle triangle. So this is a right angle triangle. And you have to label the two sides that you have. That is, here is 5 and here is 7.5. So that is the case now. You have to find the length of the hypotenuse. So to be able to find hypotenuse, you have to add these two square, because the relationship, let's say here is A and here is B and here is C. So that A, B, C, you can, sometimes the teacher will say this is C, this is B, or whatsoever. That is not really important, but what is important is that hypotenuse squared is equals to the other two sides squared. So B squared plus C squared for my diagram, the labeling that I do. Okay, so if your teacher label differently, so these will be different. Okay, what is important? On one side is hypotenuse. Okay, in order to know the length of hypotenuse squared, you add the two sides, the other two shorter sides together. So in this case will be 5 squared plus 7.5 squared equals to, I do not know, so I need to use calculator. 5 squared plus 7.5 squared, that is 81.25. And then you, because we want to know the value of A, not the A squared, so A will be square root of 81.25. Okay, so what is the value? 9.0138. 9.0138 centimeter. Okay, is there any, okay, so this question doesn't state how many decimal that they want, so you can just state I prefer to give at least 4 decimal. That's all. See you later.